Hi everyone, Helen Blunden here at Activate Learn on Twitter. It is time for another book review, and you're probably thinking, what's different? Well, I've gone and dyed all my hair grey, given that I had roots that are grey, and I thought I'm sick and tired of it, may as well just dye the whole lot grey and be done with it. But anyway, I'm not here to talk about my hair, we're here to talk about a book review. A couple of days ago, I went into a library nearby, and it's a library I don't usually go to. And what was different about this library was that they had their graphic novels in amongst the general fiction. And I thought to myself, here's an opportunity to broaden my reading interests and pick up a graphic novel. Now, graphic novels aren't really popular in Australia as they are, say, in a place like France, which is unfortunate because I love this book that I'm going to review today. The book is Elodie Durand's Parenthesis, and I picked it out from the bookshelf. It was there on the top shelf, ready to be plucked, and I turned it over on the back and saw that it had won some prizes. It had won the FNAC's top 10 graphic novels about illness. So the prizes all vary from Poland Prize, Revelation Prize, and the Liberation Readers Prize from the International Comics Festival in Angoulême. Reading the back of the blurb, which was about illness, I thought to myself, I'll pick this book, I'll have a read of it, see how I go, and who knows, I may like it. And I did like it. I was really surprised with myself as well, because I thought to myself that I read a lot of fiction and I read a lot of non-fiction, but a graphic novel brings out different emotions as you're reading it, because you're really actually seeing the writer, the author, the illustrator's feelings towards the situation. And I'll explain this when I talk about the book. Now, the book is about Elodie's, I guess, journey through a very horrible time in her life, but also a very positive time in her life, and I'll explain. She gets diagnosed with having a brain tumour, and she's a young girl. She's seeing the stories through the eyes of Judith, so she creates another character called Judith. Judith is an artist, a young girl in her 20s, and she's got a whole life ahead of her. She's working on a fantastic mural, things going well for her, but she has these spells, and she doesn't know that she's having these spells where she just kind of phases out. And only when people like her friends and family kind of laugh about it and say, oh, Judith, you had one of your spells again. She can't remember what this was about. She just knows that she kind of blanked out and she was losing time. And this started to happen more often, and she also noticed that she was sleeping a lot longer, for longer hours. She couldn't really get into life as such, so it was really affecting her life. She goes to the doctor, and the doctor do all the tests, and at this beginning they start to think that she might be an epileptic, she might have epilepsy. But as they explore, they find that she's got an inoperable brain tumour is affecting her life. And so they put her to do, a experimental medical survey where she goes to Marseille to actually put on it's called a stereoscopic frame, and you can see a picture of it here. Kind of looks ghastly. Gets put on her head, and these shoot lasers in a concentrated form exactly into the brain tumour and obliterate it. So she goes and does this operation, and the operation, although initially isn't successful, over time she does come good. But I'm not going to say what happens here, but effectively it is her entire story of the whole process of the situation that she has with regards to those blackouts, how she goes to the doctors and the fact that she doesn't trust them. But it's also a very heartening and a very lovely, I guess, dialogue between her family, her friends, especially her mother, and how her parents and her friends are actually helping her through this situation. Now, what I liked about it that you obviously won't find in fiction or non-fiction is that the drawings in this book were actually the drawings that Elodie had made during her time in her book, because her drawings were pretty much how she made sense of what she was going through. So these black and white drawings are actually the ones that she was doing at the time of going through this situation. And as I look through the drawings and how sometimes empty they feel, sometimes angry, sometimes scared, you tend to realize that the drawings themselves are an expressive mode of communicating the emotions that are in this book. Otherwise, she would have just written a story or a fiction book about the process, and it would have been a completely different, I guess, feeling to the book. I love this book. I love the graphics in it. I love the story. I love the fear. Look at this. Look at this. Look at how her doctors look at her. This is how she felt going through the doctors. Can you see what I mean? So when you see graphics like this, it actually presents a completely different feel to the book. So I read this book in a couple of hours, and there were times where I just had to hold my breath. I went, oh, okay, oh my God, that's happened, or that hasn't happened. But overall, it's a great book and a great read, and I would highly recommend it. If you're someone who's thinking, I'm not going to go into graphic novels, think again. Graphic novels actually represent a completely different way of reading books, and I must admit, this has now got me intrigued to read more graphic novels. So there you go, Parenthesis by Elodie Durand, highly recommended. Don't let graphic novels stop you from reading these. They'll open up a whole new world to you. Okay then, bye for now.